Mark Pope is undefeated against the Tennessee Volunteers as a player and as a coach in the regular season, and it will stay that way tonight. And we're going to break it all down here on episode 125 of the Big Blue Breakdown.
The Big Blue Breakdown, from kickoff to tip-off.
Welcome to the Big Blue Breakdown, everybody, where we cover Kentucky football and basketball. I'm Jackson Thurman, and I appreciate you guys listening to episode 125 here. And if you guys enjoy the show, help us out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts by liking, subbing, and then go check us out on social media, guys. You're missing extra content if you don't do this part. The @ is BigBlue_BDown on TikTok, X, and Instagram. So in today's show, we're obviously going to be breaking down Kentucky versus Tennessee. Going to be previewing that one here on today's episode. Also, the denims are back. I mean, they are so beautiful. I cannot wait to see the denim jerseys back tonight. Really, really excited for those. Malachi Moreno and Jasper Johnson were the ones that were posted on social media wearing them. They look absolutely phenomenal. I'm so excited for those to be back tonight. And then lastly, we're going to give you my prediction and MVP for this one also, along with everything right there. I'm going to give you the keys to a win and success for the Cats tonight as they face the Volunteers for the second time this season. And in the last 2 years in the regular season, Kentucky is 3-0 in the last 2 years in the regular season. Will they make it 5-0 tonight? 4-0 tonight? Mark Pope is actually undefeated as a player and as a coach against the Volunteers in the regular season. Obviously, the Cats lost to the Volunteers last year in the postseason in the Sweet 16. But the recent success in the regular season has been undeniable. I'm going to tell you the reasons here in just a little bit on why I think the Cats can make it 4-0 tonight. But before we jump into today's episode, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, W Energy. If you're looking for clean energy with no sugar and no crash, W is the way to go. It helps me stay locked in for game days, late nights, and all these breakdowns. If you want to try it out, make sure to use my code BIGBLUE10 at checkout for 10% off. That is BIGBLUE10. Guys, make sure to go check them out. Really, really good stuff at W. Some of the greatest energy drinks I have had from there. And they come in big tubs, last you a long time. Make sure to go use that. So let's break down this Tennessee team. And really, let's break down the stretch that they have played from losing against Kentucky to now. This team has been absolutely hot. Absolutely hot. Right now, the Volunteers are 16-6, and I believe they are 4th in the SEC. This team is 6-3 in the SEC. After losing to Kentucky, this team beat Alabama on the road, which is really, really tough to do. Beat Alabama on the road. And then they beat, excuse me, my thing mixed up here. They beat Alabama on the road. Then they went to Georgia, which is a very, very tough place to play, especially this year against a Georgia team that is super, super solid, that can really push the ball up and down the floor and score a lot of points on you. They go on the road and they beat them. And then they get a pretty solid team in Auburn at home and beat them. And then lastly, they handle Ole Miss, almost beating them by 20 points. 84-66 was the final there. They have been hot since their loss against the Cats. And a big reason that is because Nate Mint stepping up. We're going to get to him a lot in this episode. But they're hot coming into this game. 6-3 in the SEC, 4th in the SEC in overall standings. And I believe, again, they are 16-6. So let's go ahead and break down this team and their numbers right now. So in KenPom, they rank 16th overall, 34th in offensive rated efficiency, offensive efficiency, and then they rank 14th in defensive rating. They rank 271st in adjusted tempo per game. So this team, again, wants to they want to be slower, but if you actually watch them, it's because of how well they play defensively and get laid into shot clocks. But this team offensively, they do want to push the pace at times and want to get transition points. Just want to point that out there. Just want to point that out. But this team is 16th overall in KenPom. They have the 34th best offensive rating, and they have the 14th best defensive rating. And then, obviously, their adjusted tempo is 271st. I think it's a lot of credit to their defense getting late into shot clocks. What does this team do well? What has this team been doing well? Well, the Vols are simply the best team in the country at getting offensive rebounds. This team is so good at getting offensive rebounds. They're getting around 40% of their misses, which is completely insane. So you're telling me almost half of the time that they shoot and they miss, they're getting another opportunity. That is completely insane. 40% of the misses they are grabbing. They're the best offensive rebounding team in the country. And then Nate Mint has been stepping up recently. We're going to get to him even more in impact players later in this episode, but he is averaging 24 points since losing to Kentucky, I believe, where he had 17 in that one. Yeah. And he's been the leading scorer in 3 out of the 4 games. Alabama, he was the leading scorer with 29. Auburn, he was the leading scorer with 22. And then against Ole Miss, he had 28. He's averaging 24 points since the loss to the Cats in that 4-game stretch after the loss to Kentucky. He's been stepping up. He's been absolutely huge. He has the potential. He's at that 6'10" frame. He's been just super, super efficient for the Vols as of recently, and that's been probably the biggest reason for their success after the loss to the Cats. A big reason to that was because Jacoby Gillespie wasn't getting all the help that he needed. He's an absolute star. He's their best player. He's their leading scorer. If you go look at their stats right now, I believe he is averaging. I can see here he is averaging. If it'll get a load here, he's averaging 18.6 points per game, and then right behind him is Nate Mint averaging 17. But Nate Mint has just been on a tear as of recently, and that's why they've been so good in the past 4 games. And then that leads me to the last one, which I said that they've been on fire recently, and that's been the best part. This team is rolling right now with 3 huge wins to win at Alabama, then to beat a very solid Georgia team on the road, and then to beat a very, very solid team in Auburn at home, and then taking care of business against Ole Miss. This team's been rolling. Okay, what does this team not do well? What have they not been doing well all year? Well, this team is the highest team in the SEC in turnover percentage. They turn the ball over the most in the SEC. That's what I'm trying to say here. This team turns the ball over a lot, and that is very, very unlike a lot of Rick Barnes' Tennessee teams. They do not turn the ball over, but this team this year has, and that's what has led to some of their struggles this year. This team turns the ball over a lot, and we've seen that in Kentucky's last matchup against the Vols, where they were able to take advantage of that, get out in transition, and get points like that. This team is the highest turnover team in the SEC. And then lastly, specifically for tonight's game, Felix Okpara could be out. I believe he is questionable for tonight. I can actually see exactly what that is right now, what the status is right now. Maybe that has changed since the last time I've seen it, but that would be a huge, he's missed, I believe, 3 or 4 of their last games, but he is such a big part for this Tennessee team, being such in a huge role in that, I believe, that center position. Trying to see exactly here. Yes, he is still questionable. By the way, for Kentucky, it's the same. 3. Cam, Jalen, Jaden are out. We'll see about the return of Quaintance and possibly Cam a little bit later. But for Tennessee, Felix Okpara is questionable. That's obviously a negative coming into this one, especially if he doesn't play. Felix is he's only averaging 6.8 points per game, but he is the leading player on their team in blocks, averaging 1.5 per game, and he is also grabbing around 6 boards per game. He's just a presence on the inside. He's very, very solid on the inside. That's the best way to describe him. So, with that being said, let's look at their impact players. And you got to start with the main two. Obviously, we're going to start with Jacoby Gillespie and Nate Ament here. Jacoby Gillespie has obviously been averaging 18.6 points per game, leading the team in assists as well at 5.4, and also leading the team in steals at 1.6 per game. He is shooting 36% from three and 42% from the field. The reason those numbers are a little bit lower and a little bit skewed is because he takes a lot of their shots. But who has been stepping up recently, and that is Nate Ament. Man has been playing well recently. 17 points per game. He's leading the team in rebounds as well, 6.5 rebounds per game. Excuse me for water here. Excuse me. Okay. And Nate has also been shooting 30% from three. I don't know what his last splits have been over the 4-game stretch, but I would say they've been better if he's averaging around 24 points per game in that stretch. But mid-range really is his game. That's where he wants to be, and he's been very, very solid getting to the free throw line. I know recently where he is shooting around 70, almost 77% from the foul line. And then you get into guys like Jalen Carey, averaging 8.5 points per game, 6.2 rebounds. He's just a very, very big presence for that amazing front court that is led by Nate Ament. I mean, they throw him at the three a lot, which gets you some mismatch problems. But Jalen Carey's a big part in there. Felix Akpar, if he's playing, is a huge part in there. And a guy that I actually like that's been stepping up recently is Bishop Boswell, the freshman. He's averaging around 7 points per game. He's averaging 5 rebounds per game, 2.6 assists, 1.5 steals. This guy has been pretty solid as of recently, but he is also shooting, here's the big number, he is also shooting 56.3% from three, and he's shooting around 55% from the field. So this guy's been really stepping up recently. But Jacoby Gillespie, Nate Ament, and I would say Jalen Carey are really the guys to watch out in this one, especially the first two, Jacoby Gillespie and Nate Ament, as they have been on fire recently. And Jacoby Gillespie is amazing. Nate Ament has been really stepping up. So Torvik actually has Tennessee winning this one, 73-71, with the Cats having a 43% chance of winning. But normal betting lines like BetMGM, I believe FanDuel, has Kentucky as the 1.5 point favorites at home. Just something to mention there. So before we continue on today's episode of the Big Blue Breakdown, I want to shout out Bluegrass Elite, your go-to brand for Kentucky apparel. If you want high-quality gear that really represents Big Blue Nation, whether it's for game day, campus, or everyday wear, Bluegrass Elite has you covered. Make sure to check them out and use my code BBB15 for 15% off at checkout. That's BBB15 for 15% off at checkout. Great stuff over there, guys. If you really want stuff to actually wear on game day, it's an amazing. I have a couple of their things. I wear them on here a lot. Make sure to go check them out. Great stuff at Bluegrass Elite. So, keys to a win for the Cats. And this is going to be a little bit more than a keys to a win, and we're going to talk about matchups just a little bit here. So, first thing is, I have this bolded, all caps, let me say bolded, all caps on my sides here. Don't let them get second chance opportunities. This is such a big thing. Defensive rebounding has to be priority number one heading into this game against Tennessee because they're the best team in the country at getting offensive second chance opportunities. They really are. This team also is one of the best offensive rebounding teams, I believe, in the last couple of years. That is per KenPom. Second thing is make 8 to 10 threes in this one. Now, I have a stat here that really goes along with this that pushes the narrative a little bit more for the Cats, specifically for the matchup here against Tennessee. Kentucky has made 11 or more threes in their regular season wins the past 2 years. When Kentucky gets to 11 or more threes, they have beat Tennessee, and they have done that the past 2 years to cruise past the Vols in both away games and home games. And the last game that we played, we had the 17-point comeback. Kentucky, I believe, made 12. I believe they went 12 of 24. To me, you had to make 8 to 10 threes. Specifically, I would like to get to that double-digit mark because that's where Kentucky has had their success. That's another key to a win here. Third thing here is force turnovers / get out and get transition points. Tennessee has been the worst team in the SEC at not turning the ball over. They intend to turn the ball over a lot. You got to be able to force the turnovers, and I believe the half-court offense has been spectacular the last couple of games, has really, really improved. I still think this is a big part of your offense in getting out in transition and doing that by forcing turnovers. You're going to have a really good opportunity with the number one turnover team in the SEC, in Tennessee. Get those turnovers, spark your offense in transition. Last thing here is don't let Nate Mint beat you. Jacoby Gillespie is going to get his own. He's that type of player. He's that good. Don't let Nate Mint beat you. You have to slow him down. Now, I'm going to talk about the matchup here. And they like to throw him at the three, so that ends up being a matchup problem. Last game, we had Cam Williams. He was healthy. I like that matchup a lot on him. I believe that's who was matched up on him for most of the game. This guy's 6'10". Cam Williams is 6'8". Great matchup there, right? So Kentucky is either going to have to do one of two things. They're going to have to go big and possibly have somebody like BG on him, which I don't like that matchup there. If I'm being completely honest with you here, I don't like that matchup. What I would do, this would be my lineup. I would go Denzel Aberdeen on Jacoby Gillespie. I think you have to. This is a tough one right here. Ortega possibly on Nate Mint. So again, this is the two options, and I'm going to give you my lineup after this, actually. Here's the two options. You go Otega Owe on him. You let him have no space. You try to get physical with him. You let Otega Owe be super solid on the perimeter defense with him and get super physical, get all up in him. Bad part about that is his ability to take that shot over Otega Owe, who stands at 6'4". That's a 6-inch difference. He could probably rise up and shoot over Owe. Second option here, I personally think, is you throw somebody like Yelovich or Mo on him. Now, this might sound like three, but I think it's one or two here. Ortega or a big. I think you go with Yelovich or Mo. I personally would love Mo on him. I think that Yelovich would maybe struggle with one of their bigs inside, especially if Okpara is healthy. But here's what I would go. Denzel at the one, guarding Jacoby, obviously. And then I would personally have Mo guarding Nate Mint. Now, I like to throw two bigs out there, but that is definitely not a possibility with Felix Okpara possibly not playing, right? I would go, I know he's a lot stronger than Malachi, and we've seen that in the last game, but the link, I think, at some points bothered Carey. I think you put Malachi and Carey. So you have three matchups right there. I think Ortega would go on to, oh gosh, I just bragged about him. I thought he was playing well recently. Bishop Boswell. I think he would go on Bishop Boswell. And then if Felix Okpara is healthy, maybe you go with Yelovich. Yelovich guarding, Yelovich guarding Felix. Or you go with BG. Two bigs right there. I would personally go with the Andre Yelovich because he can spread the floor out. And then you kind of switch right there. I would go have Mo and then Colin Chandler on one of the other two guards that will be playing, which is going to be Dwayne Brown or Amari Evans. But then you also has the thing about JP Australia. That's who they put. I mean, if Okpara is not playing, I would like JP Australia on. I would like Yelovich or BG on JP Australia more because I like what Felix Okpara does a little bit more. I know JP's averaging more points, but I think the physicality of Felix Okpara is better. But that's what I would go right there. I think that's solid, and then you're gonna have to be able to mix and match with the guys coming in. But I think with that lineup right there, you can do some pretty good damage with Denzel, Ortega, Mo, Yelovich, Malachi. I really like that, and I really like that defensive lineup specifically right there for the Cats. So, just want to throw that out there. So those are the keys to a win and some big old matchups. The Dems are back. I want to quickly talk about this. I think they're absolutely beautiful. I think it's super cool that they're doing this believe the 96 team is getting honored tonight when they wear these with Pope and his team. It's a big night for the Cats. It really is. Kentucky hasn't had a home game like this. It doesn't feel like they've had a home game where it's been this type of energy. I'm super, super excited to see how the Cats respond to that tonight. Super cool jerseys that they're pulling out tonight. And the Cats are rolling. I mean, the Cats are rolling, so this is the perfect opportunity to do that. Kentucky really hasn't won a big home game this year, and this is really a chance to do that with all these different things going on outside the basketball game with 96 team, the denim jerseys, and you got a top 25 team coming in here that is a rival that you've beat, that you had a 17-point comeback against, that you've had a lot of previous success against. I really, really like it. Last thing here, as we're wrapping up the show, my prediction and MVP here. I'm going Kentucky 79-73. I think they actually get a big win here tonight. MVP is Andrei Yelovich. I think we've seen the signs of him starting games really well. I think he goes a full 40 minutes tonight and plays super, super well. I think he knocks down a couple of threes to really help the Cats. His ability to spread out the offense is going to be huge. I think he goes off tonight for like 15 or 18 points and really shows us how good of a player he is. Last thing here. This is a huge quad one win if Kentucky gets it. And this would help you get to 5-6 in quad one games, which is actually pretty good. And since you have it second in the SEC standings, if you win this basketball game, you are second in the SEC standings. That means a lot, guys. I'm going to catch you guys tonight for a live recap of the game, hopefully with a big win for the Cats. I appreciate you guys tuning in here to episode 125. And as always, go Cats.